All right, everybody, Meteorologist Jeremy Kappell with you on this Wednesday evening. It's about 5:54 right now. That is as we make our way into Central Time, tracking, unfortunately for our friends across Northeast Texas, a tornado that has apparently struck the town of Greenville. We were watching the storm as it approached. Very mature looking supercell thunderstorm, and unfortunately it looks like it has began to do the deed. So let's take a look at the radar imagery. We take you on out to Northeast Texas. You can see we've got a number of warnings that are out there. The most serious one is the one that is possibly producing the tornado. That is north and east of Dallas. Dallas, Fort Worth, you're fine, but it's the town of Greenville that we're getting reports of damage out of this rather robust looking supercell thunderstorm. We'll put this in motion for you. You can see it's dropping off towards the east and southeast. Very, very healthy thunderstorm, and the National Weather Service is reporting that there is damage associated now with that storm. This is the way it looks currently. You can see the town of Greenville located near the center of your map. I've got reflectivity here on the left. We've got velocity over here on the right. We'll rock it back a little bit. You can see where we think a tornado did drop out of the sky. Unfortunately for the town of Greenville, this radar beam is at about 6,500 feet, so it would be very difficult to get the ground truth via radar. In fact, impossible. But spotters, as the storm was moving over town, did report that a funnel dropped out of the sky, and it looks like parts of Greenville may have taken a glancing blow, as we are getting reports of roof decking coming off, lots of debris in downtown Greenville. That's coming in from Brad Barton, local media there in Northeast Texas. So that's a look at the storm. Pretty healthy looking storm. We will continue to monitor. There is a risk of tornadoes in this area, about 10% according to the Storm Prediction Center, and a number of severe thunderstorms developing across northeastern Texas and now far southeastern portions of Oklahoma. Quick shout out to my friends that are on here. I've got Brian on here. We've got R8 Sir X, is that right? Motor 524N. I've got Barbara Swingle on here. Love Life on here. That's a strong hook echo. It certainly is. I've been watching it for about an hour. It didn't look like it was going to produce, and then all of a sudden ingredients came together. So that's what we're on here currently with you guys, watching these storms developing north and east of the Metroplex. The Metroplex may see thunderstorms developing a little bit later on this evening. Every time you hear that beep, by the way, that's new information coming in from the National Weather Service. Tornado would be moving southeast still, paralleling US 69, would be between Campbell and Lone Oak as it approaches FM 513. So let's try to isolate that area a little more. Again, this is a pretty nasty looking supercell thunderstorm. That's the way it looks over here on our WSV3 radar unit, and you can see a lot of thunderstorm activity. I'm going to take you over to the last frame, and we're going to take off national composites, so we're just looking at level 2 data, and there you have it. Get that zoom function a little bit more. It's a big storm. You can see how much real estate it does encompass, so we're going to put a track on this for you guys as it is making its way off towards the east and southeast, tracking a dangerous looking thunderstorm. And we know it's also got huge hail potential with this as well, but the actual tornadic signature in this direction, moving towards the east and southeast here at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and give you some general ideas of when to expect that as it tracks off to the east and south. Going to be moving to the north of the city of Point. It looks like just along or south of the Interstate 30 corridor here over the next little while. Another vantage point. This is coming in from our Analyst Radar, and this is the one that we primarily use to analyze severe threats, and particularly when it comes to tornadoes. It does look like there's still quite a bit of circulation associated with this guy as it drops off to the south and east. It says new severe warning for the supercell to cover the hail threat moving east. So basically the northern part of the storm, they're going to cover this up with a new severe thunderstorm warning. That'll be including those areas along that Interstate 30 corridor, and there it is. So the entire area being encompassed by a severe thunderstorm warning. Let me get some town names on here. That is for Cumbie and Brashear, Ridgeway, Commerce, Campbell. That does include eastern Hunt, western Hopkins, northern Rains, and southwestern Delta County in north central Texas. We're talking about baseball-sized hail, better than 2 inches, 2.5 inches in diameter. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is not for the light of heart. This is a big boy thunderstorm. I'm showing you where that hail signature is showing up, and we're showing perhaps 3-inch hail. So this would be legitimate baseball-sized hail located between the town of Campbell and Naylandville. So Campbell and Naylandville. Trying to get that highway. It crossed over on 69, and there it is, the new imagery coming in with again, large hail producer and possibility of a tornado with that. The tornado signature not overwhelming as we continue to monitor this storm. We've got the velocity signature on the right. Looking at the INROT data, so that's the reflectivity on the left, that's velocity on the right. INROT showing some rotation again from near Greenville, where there was likely a touchdown as reported by multiple spotters. South of Campbell and approaching the Lone Oak area, that's where we are seeing some pretty decent rotation. I'm looking for evidence of debris. Let me rock it back a little ways. Keep in mind that this radar is the radar beam is hitting at about 6,500 feet from this area. So it's not the highest quality scan. Unfortunately, it's elevated a little bit as we're kind of in between radar sites, but it does give you an idea of what that storm is doing and also what it is capable of. Okay, so emergency management chiming in, says emergency operational, the Emergency Operations Center is open and spotters have been activated. And once we start to get some images on social media, I'll be able to share that with you as well. Quick shout out to our friends on here, about 45 currently. We've got a couple of moderators. That's my esteemed friends Jack Allen and also Jerry Edwards. Thanks for being on here. Okay. And then it looks like Jerry may be predisposed at the moment, but Jack is on here. Jack's been feeling a little bit under the weather last couple of days, so Jack, thanks for your efforts here tonight. Unsure how long we'll be with this. I wanted to monitor while these thunderstorms will continue to take off. We are seeing a few more thunderstorms across West Texas right now. These are sub-severe, but these are going to move to the east this evening. There is going to be a severe threat that continues for several hours across northeast Texas, where the whole area has been blanketed by an enhanced risk of severe weather. So there's a lot of conditions that are coming together here. It's one that we'll monitor. I'm going to show you these convective risks and probabilities. Again, so what you're looking at here is that enhanced area. That's basically from Dallas to Shreveport. That's where you have your highest likelihood of severe weather. That yellow area, that is a slight risk. It goes from Abilene, Texas to San Angelo and then points to the east through the middle Mississippi River Valley and into the lower Ohio River Valley. Now, as far as individual categories are concerned, so here's your probability of damaging wind. Very high from Dallas to Shreveport. I believe that's a 30% threshold for wind. Hail, also seeing that 30% threshold, and here's your probability of tornadoes. Basically from Dallas to just west of Texarkana, near Longview. That's a 10% area, which is not insignificant. So that's something we'll monitor as these storms continue to develop. Looking into West Texas, and we are watching storms beginning to fire. But so far they're struggling. There's still a bit of a cap in place. That's an area of warm and dry air aloft that's helping to limit that thunderstorm production, but there's a lot of CAPE, what we call convective available potential energy. So once these storms begin to bust through that cap, I think they're really going to take off. So tornado warning is going to be continued by the National Weather Service. So this is the Weather Service coming out of Dallas, Texas. They're saying the tornado warning remains in effect. Radar indicated hail to baseball size, about 2 3/4 of an inch. That storm was located on top of Hunt, Texas. That is Hunt County. At 6:03, the storm was capable of producing a tornado. Was located 4 miles southwest of Cumbie, or 12 miles east of Greenville, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So there's likely going to be another downstream tornado warning. This is for Hopkins and Rains, so I want to give you guys a heads up on that. More tornado warnings coming down the pipe from our friends over there at the National Weather Service. So I want to take you back over to our WSV3 radar unit. The area in yellow, that's your tornado watch. That's a severe thunderstorm watch into West Texas, from Abilene to San Angelo. The primary focus of this video will be this area basically that's developing, and if it can develop into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So that, of course, would be of a special concern. As mentioned, they're going to go ahead and they're going to extend that tornado tornado warning. So a new warning coming down the pipe. It's going to be for the counties to the east of where it's at. That's going to be for Hopkins and Rains counties. A tornado warning about to be issued. There's a bit of a technical discussion going on about what's happening over Dallas right now. Currently, it's a lack of convection. So that would be good if you could limit that potential, but we know we have a lot of ingredients that have come together, so we want to watch that very carefully. Watching that storm again north and east of Dallas. That's the one that's the troublemaker with the current tornado warning. And again, new warnings may be coming down the pipe very, very shortly. I have it on good authority that the Weather Service will issue a tornado warning for southern Hopkins and Rains counties. So that's coming up here in just a moment. We'll take you back over to our other radar unit. This is our Analyst Radar. And Analyst showing, I've got correlation coefficient on the right. I'm going to switch that back over to SRV. There's the tornado warning, and yes, we've got data that lines up with that as well. Okay, that is not the warning yet. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, but I am seeing better data now that supports the idea of another tornado developing. You can see with the velocity signature on the right, what we're looking at here is motion away from the radar side at about 56 miles per hour. And directly to the north, we've got motion towards the radar at almost 70 miles per hour. So somewhere about 120 mile per hour effective shear. It's not quite gate to gate, but it's tightening up. So I think that is that's something that is significant. We've got a storm chaser that's out there. Brad Barton, he says a tornado has been sighted at 5:45. Okay, so that's about 20 minutes ago. There was a tornado that was confirmed by a chaser, and then this is being forwarded from the local media. Roof damage being reported with that. So there you have it. Surface velocities are up with this storm. I say surface, but a few thousand feet up, as the storm is now dropping south and east. They said they were going to issue another warning. I'm not sure why they haven't issued that yet. But that would be making its way into portions of Rains and, is it Hunt County? Southern Hunt and Rains County. Also western Hopkins and north or southwestern Delta, you remain under the severe thunderstorm warning. Weather Service is reaffirming there's a new tornado warning that's about to be issued. I'm showing you the areas right now live during this feed. Okay. Got Joe and Jeff on here. What radar do you use on the computer is a question coming in from LAX and Hockey 8871. I'm using two radar softwares. One is WSV3. The other one is GR2 Analyst. It's Gibson Ridge. Very, very good radar when it comes to severe weather. Top of the line software. Tornado warning is out. That is for Hopkins and Rains counties. Okay. Just now issued. That goes until 7 p.m. Central. That's 8 p.m. Eastern for those that are tuning in from the East Coast. The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 4 miles south of Cumbie or 11 miles south of Commerce, moving east at 30 miles per hour. I'm going to continue to loop this a little bit. I'm going to try to give you guys a better visual on the track as well. Some of the locations, it's going to move south of Brashear, and tornado may pass close to a small community of Miller Grove. Miller Grove. You need to be in your safe place now. Take shelter, preferably underground. That's at the intersection of 275 and 1567. Kind of boxing that area in. So this will be making its way into portions of Hopkins and Rains counties as it's moving out. Was it Hunt County that was in? So that storm showing quite a bit of rotation with it. We'll take a look at those en-routes again, beginning to peak. That's a growing sign of a tornado there. That area of green that you're seeing in the middle of your screen, that would be the right panel, I should say. And as far as velocity is concerned, we are looking at 54 mile per hour outbound, and then your inbounds are at about 42. So somewhere at about 95 mile per hour, and that is gate to gate. So 95 mile per hour gate to gate shear associated with that storm. I'm going to check, see if we got any vaulted debris. We can do that by looking at correlation coefficient. Basically, it measures the differential in particle sizes, and whenever you have large objects that are in the air, it makes it very identifiable. Right now, I can tell you that we don't have an obvious TDS. What we do have, though, is good rotation and a very, very healthy supercell thunderstorm capable of producing some very large hail. Here's a look at the hail threshold, and this is Ville. It's a vertically integrated liquid. It's come down actually from about baseball size to around 2 inches, so the storm may be weakening at least momentarily. Echo tops, this is another way that we measure these storms, the strength of them. Right now, looking at these echo tops at around 58,000 feet. So almost 60,000 feet. We go back in time, and it looks like it's maintaining that height, and it should, because we're in an area that's got excellent CAPE, or convective available potential energy. At last check, it was around 4,000 units, and we can double check that coming up in just a moment. All right, so the reason that we're on here continuing to watch potential tornadoes developing across portions of northeast Texas. I thank you for stopping by. I'm meteorologist Jeremy Kappell. I'm your host. And a quick shout out to some of our friends that are on here. Joe Miller, thanks for stopping in. Love Lyle, also on here tonight. And also Barbara Swingle, putting up the prayers for our friends across northeast Texas, and we appreciate that very much. There's a look at the Kappell cast as we're showing the whole area now involved. Now you can see the watch area. I'm going to actually turn the watch off so that it doesn't interfere. That's the tornado watch. Dallas, you're still in the clear for now. We'll take a look at some satellite imagery here in a moment as these storms continue to progress off to the east and southeast. Looking at current thermal dynamics of the atmosphere out here, we've got surface-based CAPE at about 4,500 units. That is a tremendous amount of energy for these storms to feed off of. Any of them that get going, they're going to have plenty of energy to work with. I want to look at effective shear of about 50 to 55 knots, which is more than enough. And then I wanted to check out storm relative helicities of between 200 and 300 units across all of northeast Texas, which is plenty. I think the one thing that is working against these storms, it's the mid-level flow's a little bit weak. It's not, so you could have some precipitation loading at times with these thunderstorms, especially when they get those large hail cores, and when you get the stronger downdrafts, it can reduce the intensity, at least temporarily, of these storms. I'm also trying to see how much of a cap do we have left. And I'm going to try to bring that information up. Here we go. I mean, we're still obviously capped to some degree, but that's something that we'll monitor. We are getting the reports of several businesses damaged, perhaps no roofs. That's downtown in Greenville. I'm going to see if I can pull up some images for you coming up in just a moment. Going back over to our Analyst Radar. There's a look at the current view. That storm, it's pretty nasty looking, and it's making that right hand move. Sometimes that can be a sign of strengthening. Reports of hail coming in from Commerce in Hunt County, golf ball sized hail. So big hail potential with this. So let's look down the road. Who could be affected by the storm? And I don't think this supercell is going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's going to maintain these characteristics for a while. And I'm going to pull up, get some county map on here, and also a town map. All right, if you're just joining us, we're watching developing severe weather across portions of northeast Texas. One storm has produced what appears to be at least a confirmed touchdown, and that storm continues to be the center of attention here, as it does pose quite a bit of risk when it comes to life and property. Right now, there are two separate tornado warnings. Let me get the warning information up here for you. I'm trying to multitask here, doing about 3 things at once. All right, so latest warning information is Weather Service has got the warning for southwestern Hopkins and northeastern Rains County. Goes until 7 o'clock. Storm is moving east at 30. It looks like it's dropping southeast to me. Tornado and potential baseball-sized hail associated with this storm. So that's the threat. And I'm going to see if I can get some more specific information as far as actual locations that are in the path of this storm. And the storm is located a distance to the north and east of Dallas-Fort Worth, but Commerce is in there. So this is just south, and okay, so it's already gone through the town of Greenville. So some of the areas that it's approaching, you can see Yantis. If it holds on, it's going to be making its way towards you as well. So it's going to be passing to the south of Sulphur Spring. Sulphur Spring, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of baseball-sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour winds, big boy storm. There you go. While we're watching the new radar images coming in, I want to bring up some information from the Twitter sphere. So let me bring that up. See if we can get some real-time images up for you. Okay, that is loading. And here's a look at what we've got. Okay, so you can see nasty looking image there. This is coming in from Todd Yacobian. Is he Yacobian? He's a media guy near Greenville. And wow, that's ugly looking. You can see possible debris on the ground. It's hard to tell, but very much could be associated with that rear flank downdraft. That's the portion of the thunderstorm. That's on the south side of the storm, where you oftentimes will see those spin-ups occurring. All right, what's the Weather Service chiming in with? Again, I'm looking at, there's a look at the storm. Again, that's near Greenville, so that would have been close to the time that the touchdown, or the presumed touchdown, occurred. Okay. All right, reports of a trunk, not a wedge tornado. Okay, we'll see. We're still looking at the images as they've been coming in. Okay, this is from Novice, Texas. That's from Chase. Chase Benton 1. Very clearly, you've got some mammatus clouds. I see a rain shaft. I can't tell if I'm looking at the rear flank downdraft there, or if that's part of, if that's just a shelf cloud. And I don't see pictures of debris yet showing up on Twitter. Usually that occurs pretty quickly. This was earlier today. I did send out a tweet concerning this tornado warning across portions of Palm Beach County. That was in Florida earlier today. This photo by Cristiano Silva, and that's worth a retweet. Okay, this is actually a tornado from yesterday in Kinsley, Kansas. I don't think it was on the ground very long. All right, let's go back over to live radar unit while we'll continue to monitor the social medias and the latest coming in from the National Weather Service. There is now a new tornado warning just issued. Okay, so they're going to extend that warning south and east. You can see that new area that's involved. This warning is south of Sulphur Springs, so Yantis, Quitman. That's a new tornado warning that has been issued for you. I'm going to take you back over here to our Analyst Radar, and we can dial that in. Okay, that warning, tornado warning for northwestern Wood County now in northeastern Texas. This is coming out of Shreveport, Louisiana. So I'm going to jump on over to Shreveport, make sure that I've got their chat room in front of me as well. I am in direct contact with the National Weather Service, so I can see all the information that they're providing. Oftentimes I can get a heads up on what they're thinking before the warnings come out, which is helpful. It's helpful to get that advance warning out that way. We are now into Shreveport, and that warning goes until 7 p.m. Central Time. Northwestern Wood County. A severe thunderstorm capable of a tornado was located 7 miles north of Emery, or 13 miles southwest of Sulphur Springs, moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. So you want to take your precautions now. Again, if you lived in that area, that's Wood County, Texas, as the storm is now beginning to make its way towards you next. All right, let's check in with our friends, and we'll go back over to the control room. Jacob Gooding on here. Good to have you, Jacob. We've got a picture coming in from Twitter, according to Jacob. Let's see what you got. Oh, I see. Okay, well, thank you very much for forwarding that. I can show you all what Jacob's sharing here. That looks like some pretty significant damage. Something tossed a considerable distance with that. Let's see. Okay, this is Alley Spilliards. This is NBC Dallas Fort Worth. that looks pretty bad. It looks like something was just absolutely tossed into that. Is that a school? Is it a church? It is a church, Highland Terrace Baptist Church. It looks like maybe a couple large impacts in that church. So something was picked up and thrown a distance, it appears. Wow, okay. So thanks for sharing that. That's coming in from Jacob. He's one of our moderators on this program. Jacob, thank you very much. I'm going to go back over to our analyst radar in a moment. I want to take a broad look at things. Now seeing severe thunderstorms developing to the west of Brownwood, Texas. That's severe. Tornadic across portions of northeastern Texas. There is a new tornado warning, which we'll want to investigate as well, just to the north west of Texarkana. So that would be across portions of Arkansas and extreme southeastern Oklahoma. So a number of items that we are monitoring at this hour. Also want to take you guys back out to Dallas and take a look at their latest conditions. Obviously, with such a large population, you want to kind of watch those areas. All right, so this is the current warning. As we go back over to our analyst radar. Here you go. Seeing a little uptick in velocity, kind of right there in the center of the screen. It might be a little bit rain wrapped. But with the newest, now we're in the newest scan, it looks like it's coming down a bit. That other storm does look more interesting. So actually there's two storms. One of them probably needs a tornado warning now. What in the world? Let me double check this. Okay, I'm going to take you over to one panel. We're going to go to velocity only. And you guys can scan with me, but that feature south of Clarksville, that looks very suspect. Okay, so let me get my radars and try to find the one that's closest to it. It's way up in the air. That's the only reason they probably haven't warned that already. We'll stick with Dallas. My goodness, that's a lot of wind. Okay, tornado warning. Is this a new tornado warning? This is for Little River in Sevier, Arkansas, and McCurtain, Oklahoma. All right. So I thought that warning was out. Was it not? I saw it before it showed up on chat somehow. And this aberration that we're seeing there north of Talco, Texas, we want to watch that. Problem with this one, it's way, way up there. Oh my. We got to bring that down. If there's any way we could bring that down, my goodness, surely there's a closer radar. They need a radar out here. I find it hard to believe that there's not a radar up here near Texarkana. They need one. They desperately need one. Okay, so we're going to take the radar beam out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. And I'll have that information up for you in just a moment. So we'll go back to our other radar unit, kind of take a broad look at things, and you can see an explosion of thunderstorms across northeastern Texas, far southeastern Oklahoma, now making its way into parts of western, southwestern Arkansas. Multiple tornado warnings are in effect. Working on some of that new radar imagery. I'll take you back over to a two-panel scan. And I'm not liking this data either. It's just so high up in the sky. Just makes it very difficult to get ground truth on these. All right, so the warning, here it is. And again, this is back on our analyst radar. We're taking the radar data out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Well, we're scanning at about 10,000 feet, so it's up there. Well, I don't have any. I can't see anything more than the weather service is seeing right now. Northwestern Little River County, southwestern Sevier County, and southeastern McCurtain County, and southeastern Oklahoma, and also southwestern Arkansas. Those are tornado warnings that go until 7:15 p.m. They're saying this is a radar indicated. I'd like to know what radar source they're looking at. Radar indicated rotation. I've got rotation at 10,000 feet, but it's very difficult to tell how that's going to translate to the ground. All right, we're going to go back over to our other radar source out of Dallas. In the meantime, I'll take a quick check on comments, questions, and also if you haven't taken the time to subscribe to the program, please do so. Program pretty new. I guess we started this about a month ago now. Haven't had a lot of weather on here recently, but the idea of the program is to jump on here anytime you have a significant or high level severe weather risk, particularly tornadoes, and particularly when they're impacting metropolitan areas. I'm a meteorologist with 20 years broadcast experience, and I am here to share that experience with you. I've worked in Texas, in Kansas, in Mississippi, the Ohio River Valley, and more recently in the Great Lakes. So it's good to have you guys on here. I want to give a shout out to Terrell Daniel on here. Good to have you. Cheryl Evans here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. She's a regular on one of our other programs, Weather Live at 9:45. I do plan on being on at regular time tonight, Cheryl. Terrell on here, and he's just helping to practice his safety tips. Remember to stay indoors, absolutely. Go to the lowest place in your house, and don't film the storms, especially if they're approaching. Getting some questions about the equipment that we're using for this program. Okay, John is explaining the difference between a trunk and a wedge. And typically a trunk is smaller than a wedge. Wedge has to do with the size of the tornado compared to the horizon. Oftentimes a wedge described as a very, very wide tornado. Nothing like that here. We'll see if we can't get some more imagery up for you coming up in just a moment. But again, thanks for stopping by. Subscribe to the program if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell. That way you know next time I'm on. All right, we're going back over to Dallas, and this is current information from the weather service out there. And current radar imagery showing you still one very nasty looking supercell thunderstorm, multiple tornado warnings associated with that. Let's see what Dallas is talking about. Getting reports of thunderstorm wind damage, power poles broken, large limbs down. That's southeast of Greenville. Okay. Also, I wanted to analyze what's coming in behind it. I'm going to do that with you guys in real time in just a moment. Looking to the west, we've got just the one severe thunderstorm warning that's it's approaching the town of Coleman. That is for east central Runnels County. That's a storm capable of producing ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Again, nothing happening in Dallas right now. Some of the model data suggested that it could. Some of the data suggested that it could get missed as well. We do like to pay extra attention to our large metropolitan areas, as of course more people are impacted at those times. So we'll be watching that very closely. Here's some damage. Take you back over to Weather Service continuing severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. That's for Hopkins and Rains County until 7 p.m. Tree down. Where are we at? I'm trying to find a location of this. It's coming in from Texas Storm Chasers. Thank you. Looks like we're deploying some radar equipment to monitor some storms. Where's that at? That's University of Mass Radar. And Purdue, EAPS. Go Purdue, all hail Purdue. That's right. I'm a Boilermaker. Boiler strong. Looking at some satellite information here. This is Greenville. Looks like we've got some roof damage. Okay, we'll continue to monitor our social streams. Here's a look at the bigger picture, again showing severe thunderstorms erupting over portions of northeast Texas, far southeast Oklahoma, and southwestern sections of Arkansas right now. I'm going to pull up some satellite information for you guys so y'all can check out. And this is a pretty cool tool to use, especially during the day. It's so much more useful. And then here it is. Oh wow, look at that explosion of thunderstorms. Now what I have overlaid, I'm going to adjust it a little bit so you guys can see more where the action's at. What I've got overlaid on top of the satellite information is CAPE. It's convective available potential energy. I'm going to slow this down too, take it to the last frame. I can kind of get my eyeball on what's happening, and we've got CAPE, wow, up near 5,000 units on top of Dallas right now. So if the thunderstorms go over Dallas, and it's still an if, boy, they could really go. All right, so this is how many hours I have here. Last 3 hours. And watching that flanking line, it's trying to make its way west, but it does seem to be struggling. There must be some sort of inhibition. Here's a look at what we call SIN, and it's not really picking up much, which doesn't make any sense, because if it wasn't there, they should be taking off. Maybe the convergence is weak. I'm going to go over to see if we've got convergence on this one. I've got streamlines, okay? You can kind of see the way the winds are moving here. Wind vectors, let's try that. It's difficult to say why storms are not going up there. Just maybe not enough lift. If you look at the current watches and warnings, again, the active tornado warnings, they remain in effect. New information coming in from Shreveport right now. I want to continue to watch this picture here. Again, a ton of instability available to this storm. It's like a bomb went off there across northeast Texas. You got the storms that are approaching from the west. What'll be interesting to see is how they come together. And I might try to pull up some new, I'm going to try to bring up some high resolution weather model imagery for you, and it should give us a better idea of how this will evolve. In the meantime, let's go back over to our Analyst Radar and get you caught up. This is radar out of Dallas. Pretty nasty looking supercell. It's not growing though. I don't think it's getting any taller. You still have the tornado warning associated with that though. There we go. What's this? Rotation has strengthened in Red River County. New tornado warning coming just south of Clarksville. Okay, so that's to the north. I'm assuming Red River County must be on the Red River. This particular warning that you're looking at here, Wood County goes until 7 p.m. Looking at echo tops on the storm, about 54,000 feet. It's a healthy storm. there's a look at the storm way up in the sky, but we are seeing some of that elevated rotation. Here's a look at our other radar unit, showing the storms just absolutely exploding across northeast Texas right now. And I'll see if there's any more images coming down the pipe on our social media outlets. Again, meteorologist Jeremy Kappell with you here. This is Weather Live Now, a program designated to tracking those higher end severe weather events, especially when they're impacting metropolitan areas. I was particularly interested to see how this storm would impact the Dallas Metroplex area. Right now, looking good. It looks like the bulk of it into far northeastern Texas, where again you don't have quite as many people. As promised, the Weather Service out of Shreveport did issue a tornado warning for Bowie, Morris, and Red River and Titus counties. It goes until 7:30. That is for, it's radar indicated, and unfortunately for that particular storm, that radar beam is really high. There it is though. This was a storm that we noted earlier with quite a bit of rotation with it. And let me find, I'm guessing we're gonna have to go out of Shreveport on this one. Let's do that and see what it looks like. Might be just a little bit closer to the radar beam. We'll come back to that while that's loading. Looking for any new images coming in from Twitter, and not finding a lot useful. There's another look at that church that was hit. I believe this is a Baptist church. Let me see if I can get her information on there. Tammy Carr, that's the Highland Terrace Baptist Church in Greenville. It looks like, I mean, there may have been some large objects impaling the roof of that church. But Old Glory's still waving. That's good. And there's a look at it. Yeah, it does. It looks like it was impaled. This is from Alley Spillyards earlier, from NBC out of Dallas. Okay. I'm going to bring up future radar here in a moment. Currently, these storms, though, unfortunately, their positions are way away from the radar, so it makes it difficult to tell exactly what's happening on the ground. And we don't have a ton of spotters out here, so we're not getting as many reports as we would like. A lot of this is, you just kind of have to go with your gut. Right. Kind of watching. I'm going to take you back over to our analyst now. You can see what I'm looking at. Analyst Radar out of Shreveport, Louisiana. And what you're seeing is, well, some rotation, but it's very elevated. Okay, tornado warning base storm will be moving between Winthrop and Foreman over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, that's Shreveport chiming in. So that's this storm here. And it definitely has a more impressive signature to it. Again, we're elevated so high though, it's difficult to tell what the ground truth, or if there's ground truth on this at all. I don't see a TDS on it yet. So multiple tornado warned storms now ongoing. As promised, I'm going to bring you up some radar data, or excuse me, future radar data. Give me a moment while I bring that up. Okay, let me turn the rest of this information off. Okay, that model data is loading currently. All right, here it is. It tries to bring it into the Metroplex. It's got it. It's okay. It's initializing okay, not great, but okay. Here's a look at that data for you, and you kind of see. So this is kind of what's happening now, essentially. And you can see if we go throughout the next few hours to come, it tries to develop some on top of Dallas and then dropping it south and east, turns it into a squall line, which you would expect later on this evening and overnight tonight. That'll bring with it a severe wind threat for sure, maybe a large hail threat for a window this evening as well, before it finally diminishes during the overnight period tonight. In the meantime, Dallas could potentially see some rough weather if we're able to break that cap. And again, the cap is it's that warm, dry layer above us that can prevent thunderstorms from initiating. But it does look like it's trying to backbuild a little bit here as we speak. So this is the high-res NAM that you're looking at now. Going back over to our Analyst Radar here. Potential tornadoes on a number of these storms. The one storm that I'd like to see closer but can't is this one that's just going to pass to the south of Winthrop, possibly producing a tornado right now. Southwest near Arkinda, I believe is the name. It does look like it's got a pretty healthy mesocyclone associated with that. Let's see if it's throwing up any debris. Okay, and looking for a debris signature on this, and again, it would take a pretty strong tornado to get that up as high as we're looking, which is about 9,000 feet. And I'm not seeing that, so that's not a guarantee that that's on the ground. It's also not a guarantee that it's not on the ground. I'm going to bring up the HRRR, which is, it's a higher resolution model, updates every hour. I want to take you through the next few hours here, watching the evolution of these storms. Okay, so going back over to our future radar data, showing you what's happening out there essentially now, and we'll take you can see the intensity of those storms though. We've got our color table pegged. It tries to backbuild it a little bit by around 10 or 11 o'clock into the Dallas area, but if it waits that late, we'll lose instability, and that may not be that big of a deal, so that would be good. It really kind of limits these storms to far northeastern sections of the state. That would be good. That would be good for a lot of people and a lot of reasons. So hopefully that's what will happen. We'll take you back over to the this is the visible satellite imagery showing you those thunderstorms developing. So basically this is an image from space from the GO-16 weather satellite, looking at basically what you would see from space, kind of like if you were looking with the naked eye towards the Lone Star State. You can see that blister, that explosion of thunderstorms across portions of northeastern parts of the state especially. where you are seeing so much thunderstorm activity. And keep in mind, it's northeastern parts of the state as well that was placed under that enhanced risk of severe weather today. And also, that's exactly where we do have the tornado watch that's in effect as well. So going back over to our WSV3 radar, and you can see we've got a few watches on here, and I'll mention back in Kentucky, southern Kansas, you've got a couple of severe thunderstorms ongoing there. But by far and large, the most severe weather located into northeast Texas right now. Dallas Metroplex, you continue to, hey, you're off the hook for now. They're just not firing up on top of you, which if we could keep that going, that would be great. But we do have the other tornado warned cells that we're watching for you as they continue to make their way off to the east and southeast. Checking in with the Weather Service, see if there's any new information coming in. That's they're going to continue the tornado warning until 7 p.m. About another 10 minutes for Hopkins and Rains counties. But they're saying it's unlikely that they will continue downstream. Well, that's good. That means that they think that that storm is likely weakening, and from what I've seen, I think they're right. In fact, the other storms, they don't really appear to be holding their own either. I would say that the one that we were watching up there near Winthrop, it appears to be losing some steam. That's a good thing too. That's very positive. So, I don't know. What do you guys think here? Jacob Gooding, he's doing a great job of moderating, passing along all those tornado warnings that do continue in some case. Is a trunk or a stovepipe wider on average? I would say that it would go rope to stovepipe to trunk to wedge, in that order. That's Jacob Gooding. Good question. Got Isaac Camster on here. Appreciate that. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the program, please do so. My name's Jeremy Kappell. I'm a broadcast meteorologist veteran of 20 years. I've got forecasting experience from Texas and Kansas, Mississippi, the Ohio River Valley, Indiana, Kentucky, and also more recently from parts of the Great Lakes. Now I'm using my experience to help you guys on YouTube. Hopefully you guys have learned something, and you'll definitely be able to keep up with the more active weather. I like to target higher end severe weather events, and also ones involving larger metropolitan areas. Hopefully tonight this will be a miss for the Metroplex. That would be great. So I think that'll make a lot of people happy if we can make that work. Shreveport chiming in. It's the National Weather Service out of Shreveport. They are going to continue the tornado warning until 7:30 Central Time for Bowie, Morris, and Red River Titus. And we'll take one more look at that storm. Unfortunately, what we don't have with that storm is good radar data. And what I mean by that is that we're looking at an elevated position in that storm. But with that being said, this is what it looks like that's happening out there right now. You see all the different tornado warnings that are ongoing. I'm going to see if I can't take that national radar off on this one, and we can kind of focus a little bit on what's happening. And this will be taking a look out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'm just trying to sample that one storm. Again, that's not the Red River storm. Here's your Analyst Radar. If there's a tornado, that's the storm that we were just looking at from WSV3. It'd be located just to the south of Winthrop. I'm going to check over on our correlation coefficient. I don't see any indication that there's a TDS. I believe this is just an elevated mesocyclone. Mesocyclone simply means it's just a rotating updraft. That's all it means. Most mesocyclones do not produce tornadoes. However, all your strong tornadoes are produced by a mesocyclone. Well, they're going to roll with this for a little while longer, but I don't see any real reason to stay on. All my tools suggest that if there are tornadoes, they're very difficult to detect considering the height of the radar beam, and they are most importantly away from any major metropolitan area right now. So with that being said, I think I'm going to bring this edition of Weather Live Now to a close, but I want to say thank you for being here. I'll continue to monitor this evening. If we need to get back on, we will. But in the meantime, Jacob Gooding, thank you for your moderation, and thanks for being here. We will continue to monitor. Keep this channel in mind. Next time you have a significant severe weather event across portions of the United States, particularly tornadic events, higher level events, those are the ones that we tend to watch more closely. In the meantime, I'm going to get out, hang out with the family, get some dinner in me, and as mentioned, we'll continue to monitor. If you're not already following me on some of the other social medias, find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram. That's Jeremy Kappell. Kappell, by the way, spelled with a K. Thanks for being here. We'll continue to monitor. You guys stay safe, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.